What's up, Bears fans? Before we get into today's episode, who is your favorite non-quarterback prospect in this draft? Let me know in the comments of this video, because coming up, we got a pretty juicy segment, so stay tuned. I'm Harrison Graham. You're watching Chicago Bears Now. On today's show, we explore some of the top Bears draft targets and what their NFL player comparisons are. This isn't perfect. Not every comp is going to be like, oh my God, he's going to be this good or this bad. A lot of it's based on athletic profile testing, measurements, all that kind of stuff. It's a projection, so keep that in mind. All right, let's get to the first one here. Rome Odunze. Who is his player comp? One that I've seen, and I see a lot of it when I watch them both play, is Davante Adams, a guy that has tormented the Bears for a number of years, not as much the last couple since he's gone to Vegas, luckily. But could Odunze be Adams 2.0? Now, it's not a perfect comp. Odunze is actually a lot more athletic based on athletic testing, but their play style is similar. They both have great releases at the line of scrimmage against press coverage. They beat man pretty well. You see a lot of those back shoulder type of catches with Odunze that he was able to build that chemistry with Michael Penix at Washington. We obviously saw that for years with Adams and Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I think there are similarities. I think the play style is there. Now, is it a perfect comp? No. I don't think his overall route running is as stellar as Adams, but I also think he's faster than Adams. So it's an interesting one. I'll tell you what, if he becomes 80% of the player Devonte is in the NFL, that's a starting receiver. That's a really good player. That's at least a number 2. And listen, he's a true X receiver, which the Bears don't really have. DJ Moore obviously can be an X, but ideally he's a Z, with Keenan Allen being your slot. Odunze is your true X. That would be fun to think about. So Davante Adams, some other ones I've heard with him are Amari Cooper, which I've seen as well. Now, as far as the other top receivers, Malik Neighbors, I know it's cliche, both LSU guys, but I do see a lot of Odell Beckham. They can both play inside and out. They're explosive with the ball in their hands. They can go vertical. I do see a lot of that skill, and I mean like peak Odell Beckham, by the way, not what he is now. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's basically just a supercharged A.J. Green. Their body frames are similar, but I think he's faster. He's better after the catch. I think his ceiling is higher than A.J. Green's, but like if his floor is like a slightly worse A.J. Green might go to the Hall of Fame. So I think their play styles are similar, but I do think he's better after the catch than A.J. was. We'll get to our next draft target here in just a moment and who his player comp is. But listen, we're trying to get to 91,000 subscribers. We're less than 200 away. Subscribe to Bears Now for free. We would greatly appreciate the love and support. Give us a week. I always say that. Subscribe. Set an alarm for a week from now. If you don't enjoy the channel, you can unsubscribe. It's not going to charge you either way, so we would appreciate everybody that gives us a shot. Okay, next up is Joe Alt. His player comp is about Andrew Whitworth. Now, this admittedly is a tougher one to do. You look at Joe Alt, not many premier offensive linemen are 6'8.5". That's pretty rare. And there's even some talk of like, is that too tall? Because you get these super bendy edge rushers that could be tough, although he held his own against guys like that in college. It's a tough comp to come up with at his size, but Whitworth is about 6'7", 330. Alt's about 6'8.5", 325. So, in the ballpark, both athletic, both can move. Whitworth played until he was 40, which is incredible for an offensive tackle. You look at how Alt played last year. I mean, he was stellar for Notre Dame and played in a system that has a lot of pro-style concepts in there. I like that. I thought he was the best offensive tackle in college football this year, with Talise Fuaga a close second. Olu Fashanu would be third. But, Whitworth was very good for a very long time. So if that's the type of player you're getting with Joe Alt, I think you'd be excited about that. Again, it's not a perfect comp because 6'8.5" is tough to comp for. There's not a long list of players at that size that have had huge success, but I think he's got a shot to be very, very successful. All right, today's show is sponsored by LinkedIn Jobs. They have the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Listen, here at Chat Sports, we've hired a lot of folks over the years, and we've used LinkedIn and their job postings to help us find the right people. They are not just another job board. They have a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all of that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. They are constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker than ever before. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Like I said, we at Chat Sports have used them a lot. So don't hesitate. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That is linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Terms and conditions apply. Link is in the comments and in the description. Looking to hire? You can't afford to miss. LinkedIn's going to help make sure you don't do that. All right, next up here, Byron Murphy, a guy who I think is rising up draft boards, the Texas defensive tackle. Hear me out. Aaron Donald, again, this is not like, these comps aren't like he's going to turn into that. A lot of it is based on athletic profile and testing. This is it, and especially in this case, this is an athletic profile comp. I could see it now 5 years from now. Someone in the chat, you said he was the next Aaron Donald. I did not say that. What I did say is you see similarities. Both are under 6'1", both play low to the ground, both are extremely quick and agile, both are very strong despite being undersized, use their leverage to create success. Donald was a little more athletic. He was a little more productive at Pitt, but their athletic testing scores are very, very similar. We know Matt Eberflus would like to add a 3 technique to this defense. Maybe Javon Dexter's that guy, but getting another guy in there to compete, certainly no harm. I think there are some overlaps in skill sets with Murphy and Donald. If he's 70% of Donald, hell, 60%, that's a pretty damn good football player because, as we know, Aaron Donald's one of the greatest of all time. Dallas Turner is next up here, the edge out of Alabama. Vic Beasley, now on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think he will be better than Vic Beasley, but both are freakish athletes. Both are incredible in that regard. Like, if you just put them in shorts and T-shirts, you're going to be like, yep, this is the most athletic guy on the field. No doubt about it. But there is some projecting. Can Dallas Turner develop a little more into adding some pass rush skills? Can he play at a high level in a 4-3 system? I mean, Vic Beasley kind of turned out to be a tweener, and he had 1 or 2 really productive years. Then he kind of bounced around and was out of the league. So I do think Turner's better, but they're both athletic freaks that you need to coach up a little bit. So, you know, when I think about the Bears front 4, is he ready to be an every down 4-3 edge? I don't know, but you've got DeMarcus Walker. You've got guys like Jake Martin that can rotate in. Obviously, the Bears have to determine if he can play in a 4-3. I think he can. He's almost 6'3", just under 250. I think that's big enough. Is it ideal? No. You'd probably rather have a guy 255, 260, 265, but I think he can do it. But I do wonder if the Bears like a guy like Jared Verse more. You do some other edge comps here. Jared Verse, I think there's some overlap with Kayvon Thibodeau. So that's interesting. Thibodeau's been pretty good for the Giants through his first couple of years. Latu, the one you always see, and it definitely jumps off when you watch them both play. Trey Hendrickson, just very polished players. I mean, they just know how to get after the quarterback. Latu, obviously, with the medical question marks. But listen, we know the Bears are going to be intrigued by these edges in this draft, and we'll see if Matt Eberflus gets his way, which I would imagine he would like to get his hands on one of these players. Now, pick an edge. Who would you most like to have? If it's Dallas Turner, type DT. If it's Jared Verse, type JV. Or if you want Latu, type LL. There's different arguments for all three. I really could make the case for and against all three of these players. Brock Bowers, the tight end, trying to do a different position here. How about Sam LaPorta? Again, I couldn't find the perfect comp for Bowers because, to me, he's kind of like George Kittle with the ball in his hands. He's really good after the catch, and he can work the seam. He can make guys miss. And he's kind of like, he's better than Evan Ingram as a blocker. So he's kind of between Kittle and Ingram because he's not Kittle the blocker, but he's kind of like, he's probably not quite like Ingram as just a pure speed guy, but he's very fast. LaPorta's kind of in between. I think he is faster and better after the catch than LaPorta, but I think blocking-wise, he's pretty close. Maybe not quite as good as LaPorta. So he's kind of in between all these guys who have been pretty good in the NFL. He is special as a pass catcher. Now, hear me out too. I'll throw another name out there. Strictly as a player, with the ball in his hands, he does remind me of when Aaron Hernandez was playing well for the Patriots. Now, Aaron Hernandez, we all know what happened there, but just purely as a player, that guy had a chance to be really special, and it's unfortunate that he just became a psychopath, for a lack of a better term. But Brock Bowers as a prospect, I mean, he was Georgia's best player on offense from day one as a freshman in 2021 when he had 13 touchdowns. They used him on jet sweeps, all kinds of stuff, and I get it. You got 2 top tight ends. I probably wouldn't take him at 9, but if I traded down a few spots and he was still there, this guy's an OW, baby. Offensive weapon. I can add Brock Bowers and make him work on this offense. So, with all that in mind, who do you want the Bears to take at 9? Who do you want to pick? Or in a trade down or trade up? Let me know. Second Bears first-round pick. Who do you want them to take? Let me know what you guys think. All right, that's going to do it for today's Chicago Bears draft targets. Player comps, if you agree with some, disagree, all that stuff, let me know. If you have an interesting comp in the comments, fire that away as well. I'll be reading. Be sure to subscribe and bear down.